Lads. On this episode of Jets Uncovered, with the 2018 NFL Draft in the rear view, the New York Jets are taking stock of the players they drafted or signed to free agent deals so they can get started on developing their new talent in the hopes of building a winning franchise, beginning with the 2018 season. And we're here to talk it up with one of the newest Jet players today as we go one-on-one with former Oklahoma H-back Dimitri Flowers, as Jets Uncovered on the Our Lads Football Radio Network starts now. All right, it's Wednesday, May 2nd, 2018. I'm Greg DePalma. Welcome to another edition of Jets Uncovered on the Our Lads Football Radio Network at ourlads.com. Dimitri, thanks for speaking with us today.
Absolutely, no problem.
All right, Dimitri. So, first of all, congrats on the free agent deal with the Jets.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You got it. Can you first explain to us how the deal went down, starting with the waiting game to find out if you were going to get drafted? Because that's always sometimes, the regular fan doesn't understand that whole process of whether you're going to get drafted 5th round, 6th round, 7th round, and then lo and behold, you're a free agent, and sometimes that actually works out better for you. So how did that whole process work out?
I was just sitting around watching the draft, hanging out with some family, and as the rounds went on, it got about to the 6th round. I just started getting calls from, a couple different teams.
Okay.
Saying, we might pull the trigger here. If not, would you be interested in coming a free agent deal? And I kind of just pointed them in the direction of my agent. And 7th round came back around. I started getting a lot more calls. And, the Jets was one of the teams that was contacting me throughout the entire process.
Okay.
And, just talked over my agent, my family. They offered a free agent deal. In the 7th round, they didn't have any more picks, and so they offered it. So, every team from that moment on, it was kind of our standard whenever another team would offer. And, we just looked at the entire situation, and thought it would be a great fit, my family, my agent, of course, myself. So, it ultimately came down to the Jets.
Okay, so that was so you're basically in a situation where you're just like a regular NFL free agent where you can decide where you want to go. And now, of course, every free agent is different. Sometimes you get one call, and that's the call you got to take, and that's where you go. But you said you had multiple calls, and there was interest out there. So is there any particular reason that you decided, the Jets deal was the best one as far as roster and so forth? And I can understand why as a Jet fan. I mean, I think you're a perfect fit with what they're doing, and it's the reason I wanted to talk to you, because to tell you the truth, based on what we saw in college, I see no reason to think that you won't be on this team.
Well, first off, I appreciate that. It's a huge compliment. But second, it goes down to just looking at what the offense is trying to accomplish. I'm a guy that can do a lot of different things, line up in a lot of different positions. And, the new OC, Jeremy Bates, and the running back coach, they were just talking to me, telling me how I'd move around and do some different things that needed to be done on the offensive side of the ball. And, that's my strength. I've always taken pride in my versatility. And at the end of the day, that's what's going to get me on the field.
Yeah, Dan Chonka at Our Lads, of course, had you rated in his draft guide as the second fullback overall to Jalen Samuels, who was drafted by Pittsburgh. And but of course you're kind of the same type of player where you're versatile, like you said. You're again H-back, fullback, maybe even tight end. You have a specific thing because you can do so many, whether it's block and catch passes, run for short yardage touchdowns. Is there any one particular thing you like doing more than the other?
There's really not. My whole thing throughout college, obviously, I want to do whatever helps the team be successful. So whether that's me running the ball, catching the ball, or whether that's me opening up a hole for a running back so he can score a touchdown. That's been my thing, is I just want to be part of a successful play. And so, it came and that's just the outlook that you have to have on it, especially for a versatile position, because, you can line up in 5 different positions and 5 different plays and do 5 different things. And that's one thing that, you have to be smart to accomplish it. It's a lot on your plate, but like I said, I've always been trained and groomed to do that.
Now, I know every player, or I guess every player would just like to have the, all right, I was drafted on their resume. But still, when you get to the 6th round, 7th round, especially in the 7th round, are you playing? Is there head games going on with yourself as far as, well, I don't know. I mean, I think I'd rather be a free agent. I think I'd rather go to the Jets as opposed to being drafted by this team that's about to make their selection. I mean, is it how does that feeling come about? Or is it pretty much like, hey, you know what? I want to get drafted. I don't care if I'm the last pick. It's great for my resume, but being a free agent and being able to go where I want to go is a very good consolation prize.
Kind of both. It's one of those things where, of course, you grow up and you watch the draft every single year, and of course you want to hear your name called. But at the same time, all I've ever wanted was an opportunity to play in the NFL, and that's what the Jets gave me. And so, yes, my name wasn't called or my name wasn't read off, but I'm still getting an opportunity, and that's all I can ever ask for.
All right, now you had let's see, your career touchdown mark. Matter of fact, you were tied for first overall among running backs in career receiving touchdowns, correct, with DeMarco Murray? That's
Yes,
that's a pretty nice, I guess, record, for the Oklahoma books.
Oh yeah.
Tell me about your college experience. What was it that you enjoyed? I mean, obviously, what a tremendous final season. Going to the playoffs, nearly the championship game. So that must have been a great experience, even though it ended, pretty tough for you.
Oh, absolutely. It was a blast for me. Me and all the other guys, all the leaders on the team this year, we had the right coaches, the right players. It was a blast. Coach Riley was one of the best coaches I've ever had. Definitely one of the smartest people. And, just the way he put us in position to make plays is just unbelievable. And it's a tribute to a lot of my success. He told me what to do. I just went out there and did it.
How about having your teammate and quarterback go first overall? Were you kind of was that pretty exciting to see? What kind of a teammate was Baker?
Absolutely. We all love Beck. Beck's such a great guy. And so just to see him go overall, to see Mark and Orlando go to the same team, a couple picks away, it was just awesome to see that, man.
Yeah, and of course, everybody thought a couple of days before the draft that Baker was going to go to the Jets. So it didn't work out, but Sam Darnold is potentially now looked at as the franchise quarterback for the Jets, and maybe you guys will be teammates for a long time.
Absolutely.
Talk about the process. Now, did you already get to the destination in the New York Jets? Did you go to Florham Park? Have you already been there, or how did that go after you were signed and so forth? How long?
No, actually, they just reached out, contacted me. Rookie mini camp starts this weekend.
So, okay, this weekend. Okay,
I fly out tomorrow morning at 6:20 actually.
All right, so you haven't gone there yet. You're heading there now. You're flying tomorrow, so you're going to go there for the first time. That's when you're going to get an opportunity to meet everybody for the first time. So this is almost like what? This is another experience like it was the first time in high school and the first time in college, right? When you're going to the first time to meet your teammates.
Exactly. Absolutely.
How do you feel about that? Does it make you feel nervous? Does it make you excited about that? I'm assuming, right? That's a good feeling.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm excited. It's been a while since I've been on the football field, and I'm ready to get back to it.
All right, now a couple more things before I let you go. What do you got to do to improve your game? What is it that you think that the coaches are going to get on you for, where you're going to go, yeah, I knew they were going to say that?
I definitely have to say, just learning a more traditional fullback role. Obviously, you saw our college offense. It wasn't much like a true pro style offense. So,
yes.
That's one thing that I'm just going to have to adapt to. I wouldn't call it a weakness whatsoever, but it's just one of those things I'm just going to have to adapt to.
All right. Did you have a favorite NFL team growing up?
I really didn't. My dad was drafted in the first round by the Bills a while ago, and so I remember going to some of those games, but I really didn't have a true NFL team growing up.
All right, and lastly, what about your career outside of football? You obviously you're a smart kid, academic, all Big 12 first team. So what would you do, or what are you thinking of doing when your career is over?
That's a great question. Definitely, I have a business degree, so that's one thing I can always lean back on. But I'd obviously like to coach at some point. I love the game of football, and I just want to stay around and involved in it as long as I can.
All right. Well, we'll definitely hold you to it then. And hopefully you'll be around the game of football for a very long time, Dimitri. And best of luck. And maybe if things go as well as I think they are, we'll get an opportunity to talk to you again later on down the road because we're real excited as Jet fans that there's a lot of winning that's about to come down the road, and we're excited to have you on board. So thanks for taking the time out to talk to us. Have a safe trip tomorrow. And again, we'll talk to you real soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Dimitri. All right, that's Dimitri Flowers. And again, Dimitri, former Oklahoma Sooner, a lot of winning at that program, so that's always a good thing. Matter of fact, Mike McCagnon, GM, was talking about that when he made those picks. Of course, with the kid Shepard and the kid from UConn. I don't want to destroy his name right now, but not that that's a small school. But the Jets went out there and even Cannon, the Division II player. So he talked about usually going at bigger programs with the picks. And this season, it just turned out that there were a lot of the smaller schools. Well, Dimitri Flowers is not from a small school, that's for sure. And Jan Levine and I talked about this. If you haven't already heard it, we have our recap of the Jets draft show. That's on demand. We did that on Saturday night right after the draft when it was over, like an hour or two after the draft ended. So that's already up there, available on demand at ourlads.com. And we talked about Dimitri. Because we had known at that point that Dimitri had been signed and that we felt pretty confident that Dimitri, based on the lack of whether or not you would kind of call it skill, talent, whatever have you. Fact is, the Jets needed a talent infusion at that position. And the fact that Dimitri's got the ability to play multiple positions is always going to give you an opportunity to make a roster, especially if he can work out on special teams, which I'm sure that's where he's going to go as well. We're look, this is a nice little under-the-radar free agent pickup by Mike McCagnon. And as a Jet fan, we're real happy to have him on board. So we look forward to talking to more Jet players as we get closer to the 2018 season. And that's still a long way off. We're about, 2.5 months away from training camp, 3 months away from training camp. So that's okay. That's going to give us a lot of time to talk to players and get you guys ready as best as we can for training camp and then obviously the 2018 season by going over the roster. And don't forget to check out the depth charts at ourlads.com. And you can always follow when players are going to be on the team and when they're not, or you can check out this show, Jets Uncovered, and follow us on Twitter at PrimeSN. So thanks again for checking back with us. Go to jetsconfidential.com to check out Jets Confidential magazine, and we'll see you next time here on Jets Uncovered on the Our Lads Football Radio Network.